Hari Om Nana.
Hari Om Talli. Everything fine?
All good.
Good.
All good. You can get started once it's time.
Okay.
You can get started.
Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrusham Tattvamashyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum tam namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Trayodashodhyayah Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogaha Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnameva cha Etad Veditumichhami Jnanam Jneyam cha Keshava Shri Bhagavanuvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramichya Vidhiyate Etadyo Vetitam Prahuhu Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi Sarva kshetreshu bharata Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam Yettad jnanam matam mama Tat kshetram yascha yadrukcha Edvikari yatascha yat Sachayo yat prabhavascha Tat samasena me shruno Rushibhir bahudha gitam Chendobhir pruthak Brahma sutra padaischaiva Hetumadbhir vinishchitaihi Mahabhutanyahangkaraha Buddhiravyaktameva cha Indriyani dashekam cha Panchachendriya gocharaha Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham Sanghataschetana dhrutihi Etat kshetram samasena Savikara mudahrutam Amanitvam adham vitvam ahimsa kshanti rajyavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyam vinigraha indriyadeshu vairagyam anahankara eva cha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktiranabhishvanga putradara gruhadishu nityam cha samachettatvam ishtanishtopapatishu mayi chananya yogena bhaktiravyabicharini vivikta desha sevitvam aratirjana samsadi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanadha darshanam etat jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha. Yeah, get back to verse number 1, please. So Arjuna Uvacha, what did he say? Arjuna asked a lot of questions, and a lot more questions were earlier asked in some other chapter. Arjuna here has asked 6 questions. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva, Kshetram Kshetrajnyamevacha. It's as though 3 pairs he has picked up. Etat Veditumichami, Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava. Hey Keshava, I would like to know these things. What are these things? I wish to know, Keshava, the nature and indeed the person. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva. Kshetram Kshetrajnyamevacha. The field and the knower of the field. And Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava. The means of knowledge and what is to be known. How is the Kshetrajna to be known? How is the Kshetra to be understood? And how is the connection? What is the means of knowledge? And what is Jneyam? Jneyam is that which is required to be known. So 6 questions he has asked. Now, earlier in some other chapter, Arjuna has indeed asked one more question. 7 questions he has asked. Does anybody remember that chapter, that question? In the Akshara Brahma Yoga, which was started by Arjuna, Arjuna Uvacha. Correct. Kim Tad Brahma. You please count. Kim Tad Brahma. Kim Tad Brahma. Kim Adhyatmam. Kim Karma Purushottama. There are 3 questions already. Kim Karma Purushottama. Adibhutam cha kim proktam. The 4th one. Adhidaivam kim uchyate. The 5th one. Adhiyajna katham kotra. The 6th one. Adhiyajna katham kotra. Dehesmin madhusodana. This is 6th one, no? 5th one. No? Adhiyajna kadam kotra dehesmin madhusodana. Prayana kalecha picha te viduryukta chetsa. What is that? Aksharam brahma paramam swabhavo jhatma muchyate. No. That is the reply by Bhagavan. Arjuna's questions were, Kim tad brahma, kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottama, adibhutam cha kim proktam, adidaivam kim uchyate. These have already gone to 5 questions. Adiyajna katham kotra. This is the 6th question. Then the 7th question is, prayana kalecha kadam jneyosi niyatatmabhihi. How are you to be known at the time of death? By people who are very, very disciplined. Niyatatmabhihi. These are the questions Arjuna raised. Here in the Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, he happened to raise 6 questions, and Bhagavan chose to answer in a different fashion altogether. Arjuna has asked Prakritim Purusham Cheva. Bhagavan will start with Kshetra and he will go to Jnanam. Then he will go to Jneyam. Then he will come to Prakriti, Purusha, etc. Okay? And And in the process, he will cover Kshetrajna. Right? Now, it may be a good idea for us to understand what are all the questions Arjuna has thus far raised in the entire Gita. In the entire Gita up to this point. Beyond this, we are going to cover in any case. Okay, what are all the questions he has raised? Just for summary, Arjuna raised a number of questions from chapter 2 onwards. Chapter 1, there were no questions. There were some affirmative statements like Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacharadyam Sukhani, etc. The second chapter started with Arjuna requesting Bhagavan, Karpanya dosha upahata svabhavaha, pruchami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha, et shreyaha yes cham nishchitam bruhitan me, sishyasteham chadimam tvam prapannam. Okay, and that was the question. Then towards the end of the second chapter, he asked another question. Chitaprajnasya ka bhasha, very right. Samadhistasya Keshava, Sthitadhihi kim prabhasheta, kim aseta brajeta kim. Now in the third chapter, again that was started by Arjuna. Gyayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. In case you consider jnanam is shreyodayakam compared to karma, then tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojesi Keshava. Why are you trying to employ me in this ghora karma? Then, towards the end of the third chapter, he asked another question. Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Even though without any desire for doing papa, why is it that people do papa? Atha kena prayuktoyam, impelled by what? That was the question in the third chapter. Then, in the fourth chapter, the initial set of verses, the fourth verse, I think, belonged to Arjuna. Aparam bhavato janma, param janma vivasvataha, kathame tadvijaniyam, tvam adav praptavaniti. Hey Krishna, you are saying, imam vivasvate yogam praptavan. I have told Vivaswan earlier. Vivaswan has told Manu, Ikshvaku, etc. Evam parampara praptam. You said all those things, but your Janma is of recent origin. You were born almost along with me. And how can I understand that you have told Vivaswan? That was the question. Then in the fifth chapter, again, that was opened by Arjuna. What did he say? Sanyasam karmanam Krishna, punar yogam chushamsasi, echreya etayorekam, tanme bruhi shunishchitam. Please decide what is beneficial and shreyodayakam to me, and then just tell me only that. Don't tell this is good, that is also good, that kind of a thing. I'm getting confused. Then the fifth chapter, he asked a question towards the very end. Ayatihi shraddhayopeto yogachalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kamgatim Krishna kachyati. What is the end of that kind of a person? Does he not get disturbed like kachinno bhaya vibrishtaha chinna bramivanashyati? Does he not get really shattered like even the little cloud because of wind that gets shattered? What happened? What happens to that person's gati? That was the question. Then in the seventh chapter, there was no question at all. That was all Jnana Vijnana Yoga. He, Arjuna, perhaps was awe-stricken, bewildered when Bhagavan said, Mayi sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaiba matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. All those things Bhagavan mentioned in the seventh chapter. So perhaps there was no question. In the 8th chapter, we have covered just now. 7 questions were asked. And in the 9th chapter also, there was no question. 9th chapter is what? Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yogam. Then in the 10th chapter, there were a couple of questions. In fact, 3 questions. He said, Vaktum arhasya sheshena divya shatma vibhutiyagha. That is one question. Then katham vidyam aham yogim tvam sada parichintayan. Another question. The third question is vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyaha kathaya truptirihi nasti me amrutam. I'm not satisfied. Just once listening to these Amrita Vakyas, please narrate again. These were the questions in the 10th chapter. 11th chapter, he has asked again some 2 or 3 questions. Evametat yatha tattvam atmanam purushottama drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. I would like to see. Then manyase yadi tatchakyam maya drashtumiti prabho. Hey Prabhu, if you consider that I can also see, I can see, please show me. Then towards the end, he said, he was so frightened. He said, who are you? I am unable to know your nature, your actions. Akya himeko bhavanugra rupo, etc. These are the questions. 13th chapter, of course, we have just now begun. And the questions are obvious, they are known. Arjuna has asked, I wish to know Keshava, the nature and indeed the person. Kshetram, this is what? Prakriti Purusha, nature and Kshetram, and the field and the knower of the field, the means of knowledge and what is to be known. Then Bhagavan has answered through a Mahavakya, in the second verse of this chapter, that is the second numbered verse. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramicha vidhiyate etadyo vetitam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. The shariram is considered to be kshetra. Kshetramiti abhidhiyate. Bhagavan said, Hey kaunteya, this idam shariram, this body, idam shariram, when he said that idam shariram was perhaps limited to that body, Arjuna's body or Kitaya's body, idam shariram. It is limited only to just that body, idam shariram. Kshetramiti abhidhiyate. It is called kshetram. Etadyo veti. This whoever knows, etadyo veti, tam, those people, tadvidaha, the knowers of that prahuhu, it is said, kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. People who know this kshetra, it is said, those are called kshetrajnaha. Jna is indicative of knowing, a process of knowing, or jna is knowledge. Pratigna, okay? Again, you have reiterated pratigna, it is that. Then atmajnaha, the one who knows atma, atmajnaha. Jna is indicative of knowledge. Kshetrajnaha means the one who knows kshetra. So he is called kshetrajnaha. Arjuna, this body is called field, kshetra. Those who know that knowledge, those who know that knowledge of kshetra and kshetrajna call him, who knows this as the knower of the field, as the knower of the field. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata will be the next verse. Bhagavan continuing, this is where the Mahavakya comes. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. Incidentally, I don't know whether I mentioned, throughout the Gita, the PDF documents have covered a large matter, a very extensive coverage of beautiful narrations beautiful commentaries. It's not enough if we are, going through this Zoom class for an hour and covering some 5 to 7 verses per day. That's not good enough. I would request you people to please go through the PDF text, the versatile coverage given by Swamiji, and that includes once in a while Acharya Shankara's Bhashya essentials also. We have covered the 12th chapter. 12th chapter, the first 12 or so verses, very, very nicely covered by Swamiji, and the rest also from 13th onwards also very nicely covered. But whatever are the likely notions that we may have, those things have been answered in the first about 13 slokas of the 12th chapter. Same thing with the 13th chapter. 13th chapter is pregnant with a lot of knowledge. And the means of knowledge is also going to be covered in this 13th chapter, beginning with Amanitvam, Madhambitvam, and Dr. Brahmara happened to, or somebody else has happened to see. I have seen that in my cell phone. Somebody has said that these are the verses from the 13th chapter, and I think Percy Saab, I think, has summarized these are all the beautiful attributes. These are the jnana sadhanas. These are indeed very, very great. And these are to be acquired prayatnena. These are all the jnani lakshanas. Like in the 12th chapter, we have seen Adveshta, Sarvabhutanam, etc., ending in Samasyatraucha Mitrecha, Tathamanapamanayoho, etc. All those things are Jnani Lakshanas, which are very natural to the Jnani. It is second nature for the Jnani. Jnani does not project these as though he would like to display the Lakshanas. No, it is just very natural to the Jnani. So too, the Samanitvam, Madhambitvam will be the Jnani Lakshanas which are required to be acquired by us. All these are required to be acquired by us. Unless we acquire those, this Kshetrajnam Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarvakshetreshu Bharata will be only a Paroksha Jnanam. Aparokshena, we cannot really imbibe the spirit and essence of this Mahavakya. Kshetrajnam Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarvakshetreshu Bharata. Sarvakshetreshu includes what? Not only human beings, not only animals, not only the birds, not only the jalacharas, everything. Sarvakshetreshu includes everything that is part of the Jagat. Whereas in the first verse, Bhagavan said what? Idam shariram kaunteya. Idam shariram. This shariram means this is limited to just that body. That is a style of teaching. This idam shariram kaunteya. Hey Arjuna, this body of yours, and that body of yours has become the Jagat later. Bhagavan will keep on explaining that. What is Kshetram, etc. He will say in the verses maybe 5 and 6, I think. Kshetrajnam Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarvakshetreshu Bharata. Then this Sarvakshetreshu will be evident. So what I'm saying is in this 13th chapter PDF also, there is extensive coverage of Atma, Anatma, how Kshetrajna is everywhere, how in every Kshetra, how can it be Kshetrajna? How can it be identity between Ishvara and Jiva? Maybe the Jiva is perhaps a Kshetrajna, but Kshetrajna need not be Ishvara. This kind of an argument, etc. All those things are very nicely covered. I would request all of you, please take time to, in a peaceful mood, when you are with yourself, take the text and read and understand, assimilate that knowledge that the PDF document is very rich with. O descendant of Bharata, Arjuna, and also may you know me as the knower of the body in all the bodies. That which is knowledge of the body and the knower of the body is truly knowledge. This is my vision. See, that which is knowledge of the body, it's not just limited to knowledge of the body, and also the knower of the body. The knowledge of the knower of the body, that is, that jnanam, through which you come to know the kshetrajnaha also, and kshetra also, that is indeed true knowledge, is my vision. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. This is a Mahavakya. Then, yeah. What is this verse? Oh, I see. Okay. This is from Mahabharata. Sarpan kushagrani tadaitapanam tadhodapanam jnatva manushyaha parivajjayanti ajanatastatra patanti kechit jnane phalam tasya yatha vishishtam.
Phalam pashya yatha vishishtam.
Yatha vishishtam phalam pashya yatha vishishtam. This is from the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata, I believe. See, people having knowledge of likely serpents in that area, idea is you can save yourself with knowledge. Without it, you could fall into a pond, not knowing that it is infested with water seeds covering the water, and that would have perhaps snakes. So in this case, knowledge makes the difference between life and death. The example illustrates that just. I don't know how this suddenly came up. Can you go up? Lift it up, go to the second verse, towards the second verse. Yeah, how did it come? That which is knowledge of the body and the knowledge of the body, Sarpan. Yeah, when I was going through the commentary, the PDF document, this I have seen, but this was preceded by some other coverage also, and this suddenly has come. It's okay. The idea is you can save yourself with this knowledge. What is that knowledge? That in a pond, which is covered with a lot of seaweeds and not seaweeds, pond weeds, you may have the danger of snakes. And when you take the kusha grass with you and go through the pond, kusha grass has got a frightening influence on the snakes. Why kusha grass? For this, who is responsible? Kusha grass frightening the snakes. Who became responsible? We have covered this matter.
Garuda.
Correct. After he has brought that Amruta Bhanda, he kept it on the kusha grass. And as he has kept, and the Lord of the gods, Deva has simply taken it away. But in the process, a couple of droplets of Amruta fell on the kusha grass. When the snakes, after purifying themselves with a bath, came back, they did not find the pot. Then what happened? They had seen the tops of the kusha grass having some droplets of Amruta. They licked, and when they licked, the kusha grass is very sharp, and their tongues became two, split in two. That is how, from then on, the snakes are scared of kusha grass, I believe. So whoever, knowing that under the seaweeds maybe snakes will be there, you would better take precaution, carry kusha grass with you, and swim through the pond, you go to the other end of the pond. Then those people with this knowledge, they will be benefited. This kind of a knowledge is what? Kshetra kshetrayo jnanam. Kshetrajnayo jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. With that knowledge, if you are endowed with that, you will benefit. That is what is indicated. Now, Kshetram is going to be talked of in the next few verses. Tat Kshetram Yacha Yadrukya Yadvikari Yatascha Yat Sachayo Yat Prabhavascha Tat Samasena Meshruno. In brief, Samasena means in brief, Meshruno. Please listen to me. Listen to me carefully. Whenever Krishna Bhagavan says, listen to me, that means there is something which is very important. You shall not miss that kind of. Tat kshetram, that which is called kshetra, yadruksha, and what sort of thing is that? Yadvikari, and what are the changes it undergoes? What are the modifications does it have? Yatahacha yat, from where has it come and how did it come into being? Sachayaha, and who is he? That kshetrajna, yat prabhavascha, and what are the glories of that kshetrajna? Tat samasena, in brief, me shruno, listen from me. And what is the kshetra? Of what nature? Of what modifications? From what has it come? And who is the kshetrajna? And what is his glories? What are his glories? For that in brief, listen to me. Okay, this and the next verse will be as though making Arjuna become very, very attentive. Here, Bhagavan said, Me shrunu, please listen carefully. You are listening, all right, but be more attentive. And the next verse says, Rushibhir bahudha gitam, chandobhir vividhai pradhak, brahma sutra padaishcheva, hetu madbhir vinishchitaihi. Rushibhihi, and regarding this, kshetra and kshetrajna, there are a lot of well-meaning people have already talked of this, and the Shastra has already talked of this, and Shastra talked of in various ways. Rushibhihi bahudha gitam. Rushibhihi means the rishis. Rishis are what? Rushanti jnananti iti rushaya. Those people who are highly contemplative in nature, and in their contemplative moods only they have as though discovered the meanings of mantras. Like Vishwamitra got the meaning of the Gayatri mantra. He has indeed got the Gayatri mantra in his high contemplative mode, Gayatri mantra. He is called the Rishi for Gayatri. Rishibhihi bahudha gitam. They have sung about the glories of this in many, many ways. Bahudha gitam. Gitam is that which is sung, Chandobihi. Chandas means what? Chandas is what? Like Gayatri, like Anushtup. These are all the meters. These are all meters based on which the very Vedas have come into being using these meters. And all the four Vedas, Chandobihi means all the four Vedas. The Vedas also, Vividhaha, and differently, Vividaihi, Pradhak, and distinctly, differently and distinctly, they have sung about this. Gitam, this is to be understood, Gitam. The Vedas also have sung gloriously about these differently. Hetu madhihi, by those that are endowed with reasoning, that is, people who are yukti, as the basis for their argumentation and things like that, and understanding. Like we were discussing, anything that is said, you will have to subject it to the test of three things. Shruti, is it covered by the Shruti Vakya? Is it covered by the Shruti as the Pradhana? Shruti is what? Shruti means not just simple Vedas, it is Vedanta, the Upanishads. Is it covered by the Upanishads? Shruti. Then Yukti. Yukti is what is being covered here now. What is covered here is Hetu Madbihi, by those that are endowed with reasoning. Reasonable argumentation based on logic. Okay? Tarkam. Tarkam is not a useless tarkam. Tarkam is to find the truth. Hetu madbihi. Those people endowed with a lot of reasoning. Vinishchitaihi. By those that are without doubt, it is nishchitaihi. Then Brahma Sutra padaihi cha eva. This is undoubtedly said by the Brahma Sutra Padaischeva. This should not be mistaken to be the Brahma Sutras. There is a separate text which is meant for Manana. You are all aware of this, no? Shravana, the Upanishads, Manana, the Brahma Sutras, and Nididhyasana, the text we are covering now. Gita is meant for Nididhyasana. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. These three are called the Prasthanatrayam. Prasthanatrayam. The three using which you attain to the abode. You have chosen Prasthanatrayam. You have to go to the abode. What is that abode? Moksho me bhuyatichi aham mumukshuho ichuho. Brahma Sutra padaihi cha eva. And is indeed explained by the sentences which reveal Brahma by implication. That is, these are the sentences available in the Shruti Vakyas. It may be Shruti Vakyas, it may be in the Smriti Vakyas, like in the Gita. Gita is not a Shruti. It is not part of the Veda. It is not part of the Upanishads, but it has the status of an Upanishad. Though it is a Smriti Grandha. Why Smriti? Because it is part of the Mahabharata, which is an Itihasa, that is a Smriti Grandha. It is written, and there is an authorship, Veda Vyasa. We keep on chanting, isn't it? Om Tatsat Iti Srimad Mahabharate Shatasahasrikayam Samhitayam Vayasikyam. Veda Vyasa has been the author for this. Vayasikyam Bhishma Parmani Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Upanishad. So it has the status of an Upanishad. Upanishad. So Brahma Vidyayam. It is full of Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. It does not simply say Brahma Vidya. It gives you the means to attain to the Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogo Nama Trayodashodhyayaha. That we are going to say towards the end of this chapter. Okay? And these are all explained. This Brahma Sutra Padaihi should not be confused with the Brahma Sutras, which are a Manana Grandha. There are a lot of Brahma Sutras. In fact, the number is a very baffling thing. It is 555. Brahma Sutras are 555 in number. 555 Brahma Sutras. And Brahma Sutras are divided into as though 4 chapters. And each chapter deals with the confusion which has bothered the readers of Upanishads. That confusion and all that is taken care by the Brahma Sutras. What is mentioned here is not that. This is Brahma Sutras, means the sentences revealing Brahman by implication. This could be in the Shruti or this could be in the Smriti, like in the Gita. Like what was mentioned earlier, before the verse 4, the pond, etc. That is in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata. So that kind of a thing has revealed that Jnanam is required for knowing this Kshetrajna. Brahma Sutra Padaishcheva Hetumadbhid Vinishchitaihi. Now, Kshetra is going to be uncovered now. What Bhagavan wants to say, he is going to say in 2 verses, verses 5 and 6. So the Tathparya of this 4th verse is, in many ways it is sung by the rishis. It is also sung by the sentences of the Vedas as something that is varied and also as something that is distinct. And it is indeed explained by the sentences of the Veda, which reveal Brahman, without doubt, by implication and with reasoning. Okay? Now, Kshetra is going to be addressed. What is Kshetra? Mahabhutanyahankarah buddhiravyaktameva cha indriyani dashekam cha panchachendriya gocharaha. Incidentally, it is perhaps opportune time for us to recap what we have picked up in the Tattva Bodha. What did we pick up in Tattva Bodha? Atma kaha. What is Atma? Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha Panchakosha Atitaha Avasthatraya Sakshi.
Sachidananda Swarupa.
Isn't it? All those things we have seen. All that is not Atma. That is what we have picked up. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha Panchakosha Atitaha Avasthatraya Sakshi Sachidananda Swarupaha Sahaya Tishtati Sa Atma. That is Atma. And what is Anatma? Anatma is in the verses 5 and 6. Anatma is Kshetra. And what is the Kshetra? Bhagavan is mentioning here. Mahabhutani Ahankaraha Buddhihi Avyaktam Evacha Indriyani Dasha Ekam Cha Panchacha Indriya Gocharaha. All these are kind of known to us. See here, Mahabhutani. We know the Mahabhutas. What are the Mahabhutas? Akasham, Vayuhu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi. All these. This Mahabhutani, in their nascent state, that is in their subtle nature, it is before Panchikaranam, Mahabhutani. That these are not visible to you. These are subtle. These are subtle. The Akasha that you are seeing now every day is before Panchikaranam. That is subtle. Okay? Same thing with the rest of the 4 elements also.
The Akasha we are seeing is after Panchikaranam, right?
After Panchikarana, what I am saying is, the Akasham you are seeing now is not this subtle element.
Correct.
It is not the subtle element you can't see. Subtle elements like you feel, see, it is around 7:30 now, 7:40. In another 15-20 minutes, the habit of mine is to have dinner. So in another 20 minutes, I feel hungry. I feel hungry. That is a subtle indication that I want some food. But can I see that hunger? Like I see the food items which I partake, can I see the hunger? Hunger is subtle. So too, this Mahabhutani. Subtle means that. You get angry, but can you see anger? You can only display anger. You can't see anger. Others will see your anger. Right? Mahabhutani, subtle. Ahankaraha. Ahankaraha is, this is the total mind. See here, earlier in the first verse, what did Bhagavan say? Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramichya vidhiyate. Idam shariram, this body, that this body, as though kshetra is limited only to that body, was the indication in that verse. But see here, Mahabhutani Ahankaraha. Ahankaraha is the total mind, that is the Hiranyagarbha. The creator Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha, that is the total mind. Buddhihi Mahattattvam, Samishti Buddhi, that is the sum total of all integrated buddhis of all jivas, is the total buddhi. Avyaktam, that is Maya. Avyaktam, unmanifest cause. Maya, evamcha, evacha, this indeed, Indriyani dasha, the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of sense organs, and karmendriyas, okay? Karmendriya, jnanendriya, samudaya, that is dasha. Indriyani dasha. And ekam is what? Ekam is that mind. Without this, the inputs from these indriyas will be of no use. The mind. Panchacha indriya gocharaha. And not only that, the 5 indriya gocharaha. The indriya gocharaha means what? Those things which are perceived by the sense organs. Indriya gocharaha means jnanendriya gocharaha. Whatever is perceived by the jnanendriyas. And what is perceived by the jnanendriyas? The eyes see what? The eyes see a flower, a garden, a butterfly flying here and there. It sees the sun, it sees the moon, it sees the yonder galaxy, the Milky Way in the night, and all those things. Entire Jagat is visible to the Indriyas. This Indriyas gocharaha, maybe you can include mind also. What the sense organs cannot perceive, the mind can postulate, can perceive with its own logic and things like that. Indriya gocharaha. Entire Jagat is included here. So, idam shariram kaunteya, then in the first verse, has now come as though into the macrocosm here. What was microcosm there? Idam shariram has become the entire Jagat here. Right? Now, not only that, after the 5th verse, 6th verse also, Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkham, Sanghatas, Chetana, Dhrutihi, Etat Kshetram Samasena, Savikara Mudahrutam. Ichha means, and what is produced by Sankalpa? Ichha is desire. Dvesha, aversion, Raga, Dvesha, like that. Ichha, Dvesha means Raga, Dvesha. Sukham, Dukkham, we were aware of this Sukham, Dukkham, what is pleasurable and what is avoidable. Dukkham, Sanghata, the assemblage of all these things into the human body. Okay, the physical body. Chetana, the cognition. The cognition. What is that cognition? It is that based on which the mind is capable of thinking. It is not just the mind, Chetana, it is that faculty based on which Jnana Samupadhyana is possible. I know I am talking. With what do I know I am talking? It is because of the Chetana. You know you are listening. So with what do you think you are listening? It is because of the Chetana. Okay? Your listening ability is through the ears and the mind, undoubtedly. But the Chetana is the faculty with which these are possible. Chetana, Dhrutihi, that is courage and fortitude. Dhrutihi, Etat Kshetram, these are all together. Etat Kshetram, Samasena, and briefly, Savikaram, it is full of modifications along with its nature of changing. Savikaram. Savikaram, like the human body, is Vikara Sahitam, isn't it? The human body, There are a lot of cells, and so many cells are born every second, and so many millions of cells are destroyed also in the same second. These are modifications. Udahrutam, it is stated. So the summary of the 5th and 6th verses is like this. The 5 subtle elements, Mahabhutani, Hiranyagarbha, Ahankaraha, Mahabhutani, Ahankaraha, Buddhihi, Mahatattva, that is the total mind. Buddhihi, Avyaktamevacha, unmanifest, the Maya. Buddhihi, Avyaktamevacha, Indriyani, Dashekamcha. Indeed, the 10 organs and the mind and the one mind. And Panchacha, Indriya Gocharaha, the 5 sense objects. It's not sense organs. The objects for the senses, 5 sense objects. These 5 sense objects include the entire Jagat. Desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, the physical body, Sanghata, that is the physical body, the frame that we have, physical body, the cognition, Chetana, Dhrutihi, fortitude, all this is Kshetra, which is stated briefly along with modifications. Where was this stated? Where was this stated? Rishibihi Bahudagitam Chendo Birvividai Pradak Brahma Sutra Padaishcheva Hetu Madbirvinishchitaihi. Those, it was sung there. These, the Kshetra, the nature of the Kshetra has been sung by the Rishis, by the Veda Vakyas, by the Vakyas of people who take Yukti as the basis for any kind of understanding all those things. They have sung about Kshetra, and what they have sung about, I have mentioned here, Arjuna. This is Kshetra. So this Kshetra includes what? You, I, all the animal kingdom, the bird kingdom, the jalacharas, everything that is Jangamam, and also Sthavaram. Sthavaram Yangamam Yaptam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam. When we chant the Guru Stotra, we say this, no? Sthavaram Yangamam Yaptam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam. Then what is the next verse?
Tatpadam darshitam yena.
Tatpadam darshitam yena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tatpadam darshitam yena. Guru will be the kind of the guide for us. He will point out to us. Tatpadam darshitam yena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. All those things, that is all Kshetra. Then, can we go to the next verse, or you have any doubt?
How is Chetana part of Kshetra? Isn't that awareness, cognition, Chetana and awareness, are they the same or they're different?
In the sense, a good question. That which is clouded by ignorance. Without ignorance, free from ignorance, that is indeed you. That is the Kshetrajna. That is indeed the Kshetrajna. Otherwise, Chetana. Now, tell me, what is the most sensitive organ of the human body?
You mean physical organ?
Which one? What is the most sensitive? Huh?
The mind.
No.
No, you're talking about sense organ, right? Organ or sense organ?
Yeah, you can include the mind also. But the input to the mind also will have to go through the sense organs.
The eyes, I think. Skin.
Skin is the one which is apadamastakam. The eyes are there only in 2 spots on the head. The skin is apadamastakam, from the toes of your feet to the top of your head, including the hair and the head. If there is a little fly on the hair of your head, that is also picked up and reported to the mind, isn't that? If there is a little dust in the eye, that is reported. If there is any mosquito that is bothering you, that is reported. If there is any itching sensation anywhere in the body, that is reported. If there is something untoward, unusual on the body, the skin reports. It perhaps is the most sensitive organ of the human body. Okay, and how does the skin get this sensation? It is because of the Chetana. Chetana, for now, you may equate it to the set of pranas. Okay, the set of pranas, and because of that, even mind is capable of thinking. When the prana is gone, mind is what? It becomes as though jadam. I don't know whether I mentioned in the Chandogya Upanishad, I believe, there has been a contest between sense organs, mind, etc., etc. Each thinking that he is great, he is great. Then there was a contest. First I said, I am the greatest. Without me, you can't see anything. Then the rest said, okay, you go away. We will see how we can't manage. Eyes have gone away and they managed as a blind person. Like that, the ears have gone away. They have managed as a deaf person. And the tongue has gone away, the talking tongue, jifva. And people have managed as a dumb person. Like that, all this. Then mind said, I believe I am the greatest. Without me, you can't even think. And I can, what is not visible also, I can imagine and make books on that, write books on that. Then prana said, I believe, okay, you go. When the mind has gone, it was as though the jiva was like in coma, but prana is there. But then mind came back and asked prana, why did you challenge me like this? How did you manage without me? We are able to manage. That is why you have come back and you are talking to us. Then prana said, you wait and see now. I am moving and see what all happens to you, all of you. Prana, when it moved, everybody, the mind and the sense organs of action, they became absolutely useless. It is the prana. So for the time being, Brahmara, you can take perhaps Chetana means the
Power
prana.
of the prana.
Yeah,
Prana.
correct. It is because of the prana, anything is possible to be discerned. Okay. So Sanghatas Chetana Dhrutihi Eta Kshetram Samasena Savikara Mudahrutam. Now, from the next verse onwards, those are the Jnani Lakshanas. Those are the means of jnana. These are to be acquired. And unless we acquire these, we can't understand Kshetrajna and Kshetra. It will be simple input to us, as though we have seen a movie and forgotten about the rest of it. And that's all. It is a one-time listening and the end of that listening also. When we equip ourselves with all these great traits, these lakshanas of a jnani, which are indeed, towards the end of all these things, Bhagavan is going to say, Etat jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadato anyatha. All these are said to be jnanam, and anything opposed to this is ajnanam. Like we have picked up in the Tattva Bodha. What did we pick up? Regarding Brahma and Mithya?
Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya.
Mithya. Jivo Brahma Ivana Paraha.
But that's not Tattva Bodh.
No. What I'm saying is, Nitya Vastu Vekam Brahma. Tadanyat Sarvam Vicheti. Nitya Vastu Vekam Brahma. That is, Bhagavan is saying, this Amanitvadi Gunas. Whoever is Amanitvadi Guna Sahitaha, he is a blessed person. He is endowed with the means of knowledge to understand and be the essence of the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Without that, Ajnanam yathatonyatha. Without that, Ajnanam means as it is, we are Ajnanis. Why do we have to compound our Ajnanam? So we will better imbibe the great qualities which are going to be enunciated from this verse onwards. For about 6 verses, Bhagavan is going to say beautifully all these things. We will cover all those tomorrow, okay? If you have any doubts also, we will first address the doubts tomorrow before we go to the 7th verse. Amanitvam, madhambitvam, ahimsa, krantirajyavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, स्थैर्यम आत्म विनिग्रह इंद्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम अनहंकार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःख दोषानुदर्शनम असक्ति ही अनभिष्वंगः पुत्रदार गृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्ट अनिष्ट उपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्ति ही अव्यभिचारिणी विविक्त देश सेवित्वम् अरतिर्जन संसदि अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम् तत्व ज्ञानार्ध दर्शनम् एतत् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानम् यदतो अन्यथा. Anything else is ajnanam. Anything else is ajnanam. Okay? We'll see that tomorrow. We may not be able to cover all these verses in one go tomorrow. Maybe not. We'll see. Hari Om. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everybody.
Om.